I am going to talk to you about brain balance. My idea with this is that we are going to follow the improvements or progression or give weekly updates to our daughter. So we put our daughter, who is 7, in brain balance. We noticed forever that there was something just not quite clicking with her. Background knowledge on her: she was really sick when she was about 6 months old. She got metapneumovirus, which attacks part of your lungs. I think attacks the lower part of your lungs, and RSV attacks the upper part of your lungs, or maybe it's the other way around. I'm not a doctor. But anyway, that landed her in NICU for close to 6 or 7 days. It was a long time, and then she was in children's for a little bit longer after that. And then not a month goes by, and she was admitted again, but this time with RSV and then pneumonia. And so her lungs were really fragile, and she was really weak, and already was trying to recover from metapneumovirus, then turned around and got sick again. The doctors told us that if she got sick again, after the second time that she was in NICU, that it would be very dangerous for her, because her lungs were so scarred already. And then 2 months later, she got rhinovirus. That didn't land her in NICU, but she did have to stay the week in the hospital for that stay. Anyway, so what this did is this deterred her normal growth pattern. So she didn't start standing until she was about 18 months old, and that was with the use of furniture. She couldn't stand on her own. And then she didn't start walking until she was almost 2 years old. What this did to her brain was her right side of her brain was not able to develop normally on a normal path. And we'll get more into that as I discuss things. I'm probably going to be all over the place because I'm not really sure how to make this little documentary. So we'll just go with what I got. Anyway, so we noticed, yes, she was behind. She's always been delayed in everything that she does, but she was just behind in her growth, and she doesn't meet the bubble of autism. She doesn't meet the mold of ADHD or ADD. And when we would talk to her sitters in the past, when we would talk to her teachers, her tutor, we're like, what is your opinion on Madeline? What do you think's going on? And nobody really had a say in it. They said, it's just Madeline, and that didn't work for her father and I. So we needed to figure something out. And then I heard a commercial of brain balance, and I thought, what, why not give that a go? So before we had our initial meeting with brain balance, where Madeline was tested for everything under the sun, I asked several of my teacher friends, have you heard of brain balance? Any of your students ever go through there? So on and so forth. And the teachers that have heard of brain balance, where students did go through it, all of them came out pretty remarkable. They all had great, they all noticed the differences in the kids, and that's a big deal. One of the teachers had a nephew that went into brain balance, and it was like a 180. It did wonders for him in his life. So then that brought us to, all right, let's do it. Let's figure this out. So we had our initial consult with brain balance, and our findings of Madeline was just kind of jaw-dropping, because I kind of finally felt heard as her mother. It's like someone, for the first time ever, can understand what it is that her dad and I see, and where we find her just not connecting things. And it finally, it just felt so good. I almost wanted to cry happy tears because they were talking to me about my daughter. And there was absolutely nothing that what they brought to the table from their findings did we think that doesn't sound like Madeline. Like everything 100% was our child. Okay, so now what we learned, oh, and forgive my son's in the background. I'm sitting outside the tutor's house. They have tutoring. Madeline's in there right now for reading, and he goes in there for math and writing. Anyway, and that'll be an important note later on in these findings. Okay, so back. All right, so what we found is that Madeline's issue is that she never shed her infant primitive reflexes. What that means is you've got this pyramid right here being the primitive reflexes. That is what you are born with. That is your grasp, startle, rooting, spinal galant. I'm going to start pronouncing these words way wrong, so I'm just going to show you this list. Okay, so all of these things are primitive reflexes, and she should be showing none of them because you shed primitive reflexes by about 2.5 with normal development. So it's automatic for you to grasp things. You don't need your brain to say, hey, you need to grasp, the finger like this when you're putting your finger in a infant's hand and they go like that. That's a primitive reflex. So she still has that, and her brain is fighting her primitive reflexes. And so her right brain, which that is what develops first in people, in humans, is the right brain, already started on get out of here. Go back on your game while you're waiting.
It's loading.
Get over there.
It's loading.
Anyway, it started on a rocky surface. So, let's see here. I've got so much paper that I'm like trying to figure out how should I approach this with you all? Like what is going to help you in your journey in finding what is right for your kid? That's what my goal is for this video, is making you aware that help is out there and it does work. So with the primitive reflexes, they gave me a sheet of all of these things and what it means to still have them. So the asymmetrical tonic neck reflex, she shows that it's moderate. She moderately has that. And the social and learning challenges that associated with this is awkward gait while walking and running. Yeah. Difficulty with cross-body coordination, right arm, left arm. Difficulty crossing the midline. Eyes may jump while reading, skipping small words or a line. Yes. Struggles with balance. Oh my gosh, yes. This child is clumsy. Struggles with body coordination. Yes. Difficulty with writing. Yes and no. Which is, hey, get out of there. Which is, it's actually interesting. She's right-handed and she was born with no thumb knuckle. No thumb knuckle. There are no wrinkles right here for her thumb or on here. Like, it's legit. It's just straight. Like this, she can't do that. So her writing is actually pretty good for no thumb knuckle. Hey, stay out of my video. Poor hand-eye coordination. Yes. Struggles to express ideas in written form. Yes. Struggles to copy from Blackboard. Yes. Poor eye tracking. Yes. Difficulty with reading. Yes. It's pretty interesting. And then, let's see, startle reflex. This is what there's two things in here that she has not been able to shed from her primitive reflexes. So, when the baby's head is not supported, startled by a loud noise, bright light, sudden touch, the arms will thrust outward and then curl in to embrace themselves. So what this does is meltdowns and tantrums more frequent than expected for her age. I will say her behavior is actually pretty good, but when she gets upset, she will get upset, and it's really hard to bring her back down. She does the whole thing where she just holds in all of her frustration, and then the minute, like the very last tip of it, that somebody upsets her, it's like the bottle cap, you know, it comes off and then sprays everywhere, and then she like goes psycho, and she'll stay psycho for a little while, but then you can like kind of bring her back. Hypersensitive fight or flight response, poor impulse control, emotional immaturity, overreacts to startle stimuli, loud noise, touch, light, and has anxiety. I would say her anxiety, we call her shake and bake. So she like stems a lot when she gets really excited. So her anxiety would be like, can't control happy thoughts, basically, would be what I would think. It's pretty, yeah, her landau, which is lying prone, an infant must raise their lower body with their upper body. And that was moderate. And the learning challenges to that is clumsy, poor balance, awkward movement in lower half of the body, low muscle tone, struggles to coordinate upper and lower body to work together, like jumping jacks, and altered gait, walking, and running. It's just, I mean, it goes on and on of all of the different findings of how these things affect you and then affect your learning. So we have come to find out that she is right brain weak. Her left brain is actually performing pretty strongly to get her where she is at now, with her right brain being so small. Well, so small. For her right brain being so behind, I should say. Now, this is the right brain and the left brain. This is what they are responsible for. So, in Madeline's world, because her right brain is pretty weak, it's like giving her a puzzle without the picture. So eventually you're going to complete this 1,000-piece puzzle, but it's going to take you a long time to get there. And we are wanting to give her the picture, and we can do that with Brain Balance's help. So let me just thumb through these pages here and see what I have missed. Okay, so senses, vision and perception. They test on so many different things that you wouldn't think of. Like vision, they would have you, we weren't back there, so we don't know everything. We only know what was discussed with us and different ways that they found, different ways that they were able to make these reports for us. One of the things is they asked her to focus, and she had to stare at this point, and then they would have like a triangle come in on this side and then a square come in on this side, and she had to stay focused, and her eyes needed to remain straight. And then she was asked, what shape did you see coming at you? And she couldn't do it at all. She could only see the shape if she turned to look at the shape coming at her. But if she was focusing, she has no peripheral vision. She has to turn her head and look and see what's coming. But for us, or people whose peripheral vision is stronger, we would be able to see, looking at this point, let's say the teacher's talking, someone drops a pencil to your right, you can know that that's not important. It's a pencil that dropped. You don't need to turn your head or turn your attention. You need to stay focused to the teacher. She can't do that. If something's happening to the right, her brain can't register that it's not important. So she loses the teacher and looks over at the pencil being dropped. And then when she comes back to the teacher, then she's just lost her focus. And she's lost. All right. So this is what they've tested her on her vision. I don't know how well that is gonna come across, but So our target goal, obviously, is 100%. And so what we see with our eyes is perceived in our brain. This information is used to teach us about our environment and to help us to perceive and relate to the people around us. The front brain perceives what we are seeing. It pays close attention to both details and color to help clearly communicate what we are seeing and experiencing. So her eye reflex, students' ability to separate their eye movement from their head movement, 0%. The eye movement and coordination, this determines eye muscles and the attention system, and the ability to have fast movement of your eyes, 40%. The visual focus, the strength of ability to perceive objects around you while focusing on a midpoint, 7%. So in total, her vision, her senses, like, it's different. Her eyesight is great, but how she perceives it, 16% out of 100%. It's really sad. And then her processing, so that was just the perception. Then you go into processing what it is that you were seeing. So what we see with our eyes is processed in the back of our brains to help determine location and context. It interprets where by giving us the location of what we see. Further, it acts as a motion detector that provides information about movement and also gives us the bigger picture around what we see and how to process or understand this meaning. So for her recognition, the test reveals whether the information is processed in an appropriate time frame, 27%. The convergence, the ability for the eyes to work together to shift from looking at an object at a distance and then an object up close, 13%. So if the teacher says is teaching them something on the whiteboard or the projector, whatever, she looks up and she's learning, and then the teacher says, okay, now let's bring what we learned to paper, and then she comes down to her paper, you've lost her. She from point A to point B, she's now gone. It's pretty sad. Okay, so this is interesting. Her hearing is that of a 3-year-old, and she is 7. So she scored 43% out of 100%. And one of the things they did is they put headphones on her, and they had one word come out of this ear and one word come out of this ear. And so let's say dog came out of her left ear and cat came out of her right ear, and they did this 10 times, and they asked, what words did you hear? Only 3 times was she able to say one of the words. Never did she get both of the words correct. All of the other times, she melded the words together. So if you had dog in this ear and cat in this ear, she ended up with dot. And it does make sense, because when we talk to her and we say something and then she comes back with a response that makes 0 sense, we've constantly said to her in the past, what did you just hear? And it now makes sense that she's not processing what we say. Not all of it anyway. So we have to be more precise with her as if she were 3 years old. And I'm telling you, after we got this test and me understanding that, things have been so much better. Getting her to understand us and to listen to us. It's pretty incredible. All right. Her sensory motor skills. The core of our bodies contain millions of receptors that help connect our brain to our muscles to help us learn to walk, jump, run, and engage in dance or sporting activities. As these connections form, the muscles become stronger, enabling us to perform more complicated tasks. When a child has a weak core, poor balance, or coordination, this can be a sign of imbalance. So this is what I'm reading from. These are her stats. So, her motor skills is 53% of 100%. Her core muscles, they're showing that she's at age 6 instead of 7. So the test to determine the stability of your body's movements as well as setting the baseline processing speed of the brain. Her fine motor skills, the measurement of the ability to manipulate small objects, they have her as age 2 instead of 7. I would have to see more on that, because that's a huge jump. It's crazy, but I don't know how they tested for that. I'm not fighting the results. The results have all been spot on. So it was just mind blowing to see that. Poor baby's been suffering. The equilibrium measurement of how well a student perceives movement to his or her body position in space, 40%. And the body awareness, student's perception of his or own body position. Before we can feel, sense where others are and how they feel, we must first sense where our own body is and how we feel. And she's at age 4 instead of age 7. All right, so her rhythm and timing is what I'm about to read to you right here. Our capacity for arithmetic, maybe I should do this. Our capacity for rhythmicity, I think I'm still saying that wrong. Why can't I say that? Rhythmicity? Anyway. And timing helps to build our intellectual and emotional development in the brain, connecting many regions to work together. Further, it provides a sense of balance so that walking and other simple activities seem almost effortless. In children with imbalance issues, the cross-body communication necessary to enable these movements can become frustrated by ineffective communication between hemispheres. This can impact not only coordination of the body, but also coordination of thought, communication, behavior, and actions. So she scored at age 5 instead of 7. So she's at 71% instead of 100%, which is pretty interesting. Okay, so here is what is very interesting. So this is her pyramid. These are all the primitive reflexes she has not shed. That's all the primitive reflexes she's not shed. And then you've got the sensory motor, and then you have the body awareness, the processing, and the synchronization. This is the tip of the pyramid, obviously. This is where most parents see a problem. Most of the time they're in school when you get to this point. And they start to think, how can we help our child? And it is a lot of times you're helping your kid on the surface. So for instance, I told you that I'm sitting outside of the tutor for her reading and writing. She's had a tutor since kindergarten, since almost the start of kindergarten, because we are fixing the surface. Now, having a tutor is very important. It's very important, and it has helped. But we're fixing the surface. We're not fixing what brought us to needing a tutor. So we have to start all the way down to the beginning, which is the primitive reflexes. The people we talked to at Brain Balance, the lady we talked to, she was actually kind of shocked that Madeline's coordination, the very tippy top, was age 5 instead of 7. And I'm not a trained professional. I am just guessing that her left brain must be so strong that it has been able to carry the weight of the right brain being weak. And so once we give her this push and the tools that she needs to strengthen her right brain, I can't even imagine the things that she is about to accomplish. It's going to be incredible. And honestly, my eyes are watering right now thinking about the potential that my child now has, because beforehand I was just at a loss, and now I can see her future, and it's so exciting. So I've given you lots of information. There's still other information out there that I didn't share with you. One of the things that is very important is you're going to ask, how expensive is Brain Balance and what kind of commitment is it? Let me tell you something. For her, I don't know, it may be for every, child, but she has to go 3 days a week, and it's an hour. So she goes Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, an hour each. And then we are going to have to learn exercises to do at home as well. This is not cheap. For 3 months, it's $6,600. $6,600. Not cheap. But hold on just a second. She's done with tutoring. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I traded the son in for the daughter. Here's Madeline, the person that I've been talking about this whole time. How was tutoring?
Good.
What did you learn?
I learned some letters and words and yeah.
letters and words, and yeah. And you got a squishy.
Look.
Oh, cool.
Look,
Okay.
guys.
Oh, look, she got a squishy. She gets to have a little something after every tutoring session, and she's so excited, and they keep choosing all these squishies. Anyway, so we were talking costs. $6,600 for just 3 months, and then it doubles, you know, for the next 3 months. We decided, it was recommended to us to do 6 months. We're like, I mean, it's a lot of money. So we're like, let's just see what 3 months does for her, and where we're at 3 months. And then there is a possibility that if she's doing very well, that we can finish the remainder of things at home, as long as we're committed parents and doing the exercises with her. Anyway, so after your 3 months, or after your program, depending on how how long you choose, you know, you got 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, you know, what have you. They give you a year after your program is up to follow up with your child and to make sure that things are on path. And if you find something that needs a little bit of tweaking or help, they can offer you exercises. I'm a busy mom. I got my daughter calling me, my oldest. Hold on just a second. I'll get back to you on that. Hello? Work in just a minute. All right, back. What was I talking about?
My squishy.
The cost. The cost is what I was talking about. So I made a statement that, yes, it is a lot of money, but this is going to change her whole entire life. So it's worth it, right? I mean, it's going to change her entire life. And I'm really excited about that. So my idea is, now that you've got the whole gist of where we started and where we are now, every week I want to tell you improvements of where we are at, and then I want to interview Madeline, maybe ask her what she's learning, have her read a book to us, and so that way from now until, maybe not do every week, maybe every other week,
yeah.
but from now until the end of 3 months, you're going to be able to see our progression, and hopefully it's a tremendous one. And I'm excited to take you all along for the ride, and I really hope this helps someone out there who is also struggling, because there are answers, and the brain is a masterpiece of just complexity. A masterpiece of complexity. It can do wonderful things, and it just needs to be retrained, and I just have high hopes for this, and I have high hopes for you. Thanks. Okay, Madeline, hold on a second. Let me get comfortable. Okay, Madeline, I would like you to tell me a little bit about brain balance. You've been there 3 times. The first one is when you got evaluated, right? Your very first time. And then you went on Monday, and then today's Wednesday. So can you tell me a little bit about what you're doing at Brain Balance?
So I was doing, I forgot.
It doesn't have to be word for word everything that you're doing. It can just be a little bit, or it can be like maybe something you like about the place. It could be anything you want to talk about Brain Balance.
So
anything that comes to mind.
Okay. So I really like Brain Balance because I like to do all this fun stuff, and I really like it, and I really like it. So bye.
That's it? You just really like it, and you really like it?
Wait.
Okay, so I know some of the...
Let's start over.
No, it's okay. I know some of the things that you've talked about, so I'm going to mention things that you've told me, and maybe it will jog your memory, okay?
So I'm
no,
holding.
No, you're still sitting down.
No.
Okay, so I remember you telling me that you had to watch a dot on the iPad. Did you have to like watch the dot move?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
And you had to press it.
Like where the dot was?
Yeah.
Okay. And what about that trust fall? You remember telling me about you had to trust the person?
Yeah.
She clapped her hands and then you had to trust and you fell backwards. Did she catch you?
Yeah.
Was that crazy?
Yeah.
I'm sure it was. Let's see. They put headphones on you, right?
Yeah.
And you had to listen to words that were being said? Was that weird?
And I had to watch the middle, and then a shape comes up, and then I had to press it, and I had to keep my eye on the middle.
Oh, and was that tricky? No, you got it? Oh, okay. So one of the things, calm down. So one of the exercises that they showed me is your eye movement. So remember we did this? Yeah. Look at my finger, okay? Don't take your eyes off my finger. Open your eyes wide up, like, yeah. No, don't take them off. Now move your head all over the place, but don't take your eyes off my finger. Can you go down and up? Okay, now what I want you to do is keep your head still, but watch my finger, okay? Keep your head still. That's pretty good. They said you were turning your head a little bit when you were doing that and you couldn't really focus, that you had to keep turning your head to look at the pencil when you were doing it. But you seemed pretty good.
And I have something to say.
What?
Like and subscribe if this video is your best.
Like and subscribe if what?
If this video is your best.
If this video is your best? Okay.
And
how about if this video helps you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Yeah.
I hope you found this video helpful and gives you hope for your own kiddo. We plan on updating videos here and there about Madeline and her path and her progression. So subscribe to our channel so you can keep up to date too. Thank you.